So here I'm trading a $300 bag. We just closed out a trade, and on this trade we entered here and we closed out here. Now that trade right there gave us a nice little, um, I think it was about 40% or something like that, and we took in a $120, right? So that's where we are with the process of um, the trade, right? So we want to be taking profits from 35, 40%, and then walking away. So this is just so we can understand fees and everything. I started the trade at $299. I made 120. So if we take a look at the overall position, um, yeah, so we're about where we want to be there. So 300, we have 140. So we did what we wanted to do there. So once you do that, you want to make sure that we're trading the same bag. So you just hit this little transfer button, and you're going to swap here from spot. You're going to make that it's futures, and I'm just going to move the $140 that we just made in profit, and I'm going to move it over to my spot account, right? Keeping it simple so that when I make my next trade, my current equity is 300 and my available margin is 300, so that when I do make my trade and I'm scaling my percentage from 50%, I know that 50% is 150, and I know that the 100% is going to be the 300 I want. This will allow me to get in the trades that I'm doing with the same bag, so that when I do lose 15%, it's 15% on 300, and when I win 15%, it's 15% on 300, and I can do the 10 trade review properly, right? And what I mean by that is that, say if you have a $200 bag, right, or 150, and you win 20%, or let's say 40%, right? And or just to do what we just did here, we have a $300 bag, right, and I won 40%. So now I'm at 440. So let's say I make the next trade, which most people do, and I put 440 in, and let's say my stop loss is 30%. Now technically off my 300, I was willing to give up about $90, right? But what happens is that when I put my stop loss in at 440, now what I'm actually doing is I'm giving up 130, $140 in that loss, which is about $50 more than my 90, which is almost double, like, or 50%, right? So it's almost like 50% higher than what I'm supposed to lose. That adds up, right? Because now when I go to make the next trade, now I'm trading with that loss. I'm back at 300, right? What I could have done was move the 140 to my spot like I did, and if I happen to lose 80 or $90 on the next trade, then I could grab that from my spot, put it back into my account and in my futures, and go back to 300. So that way, the next trade that I win, if it's 40, 50%, I'm making 150, versus coming into it and having a bad situation where I'm working my way backwards from 300 to 200 to 150, and then I make a good trade and I double my money and I end up literally back where I started, right? So just learn to trade a bag, and when I say bag, it's just the amount that you're trading, and then that way it's like when you win, move your profits out of there, so that way you're not over trading your position, right? And that's pretty much how to do that right there, guys, and that'll keep it very simple for you, man. Other than that, if you have any questions, we'll make more videos on that, but that is how to make sure you're trading that. So right now I'm currently trading a $300 bag, which allows me to do two things. I can do a 50% entry at 150, which is still a solid amount above 100, and then I can do a buy-in at 150, or I can decide to do two different trades at 150 each. But you always want to have your bags at least 100, $150 each, to 200 bucks to 300 in that area.